We are live. Okay. So let's wait a few minutes here. Let's wait a minute or two. Make sure people are joining. This is good. This is good. There's just a tiny bit. There we go. Okay, let's see. So, are we good, Josie? Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Pro Yo. What's going on? If people on the stream can give me a thumbs up, thumbs down to make sure that we're good to go. People on good morning. Can people give me thumbs up on the Instagram to make sure that we're good to go? If so, I will get started. Oh, yeah. Seems like we're good everywhere. Okay. Today's topic is a touchy one. It's something that a lot of men are aware, but they keep it on the down low. Most men that are affected by this are ashamed of speaking about it because there is a stigma attached to it. Personally, it's something that I've been wanted to speak about for a while, and today is the day that I finally do it. Low testosterone is a problem affecting more and more men today, and it is time that we speak about it openly. This is why today's episode is called You Are Not the Man Your Father Was. This episode of the Nico Lagan Show is brought to you by the Alpha Creator Blueprint. Are you a male content creator on a mission to help other men? Is your content not getting the attention that it deserves? Would you like to increase your views by 10, 100, even 1,000 times? If so, head to the alphacreatorblueprint.com and let us show you how we can help. Welcome to the Nico Lagan Show. I am your host, Nico Lagan, aka Mr. Masculinity. Okay, so let's start here. Every year, I set myself goals. I always achieve them, but every single year, one of the first things that I do, I set up goals for the next year. And one of the goals that I set for 2023 was to be in the best shape of my life. Considering that I was a fighter, that I used to fight, it was not I knew it wasn't going to be easy because I'm 41 years old. I used to fight at the end of my 20s, early 30s. This is when I was in the best shape of my life, and now I made a promise to myself. I set the goal to be in the best shape I could be, not for a 41-year-old, the best shape I could be in my life. And like many men my age, I'd been experiencing decrease in sex drive. I was more and more fatigued. I did have low energy, loss of hair, obviously, and I did not sleep as much as what people were telling me. Like my whole life, from what I can remember, at least from my adult life for the past 20 years, I've only been sleeping maybe 4 or 5 hours tops. And, I've always been careful with my diet. I've done intermittent fasting for, 5 or 6 years now. I've always made sure that I'm working out at least 5 times a week. But I gotta say that my workouts were getting harder and harder, and it was noticeable. Like it is something that I absolutely noticed. And, since I promised myself I would get in the best shape of my life, I had to admit it to myself first that something was up, like something was not okay. And I started doing some research. I started looking into what could be causing the issues that I was seeing. After doing some research, I found out that my problem could be related to low testosterone. So I decided to have a full blood work done. So I went for a full blood panel. Waited a few days and I got the result. And I got to tell you, the results did speak for themselves. It explained a lot. Although all my hormonal levels were good, my testosterone level was a problem. We will, this is all I'm going to give you right now, but I will touch about this later. I'll get back to my level. But before I do, I want to hit you with some knowledge. The testosterone in a man is measured in nanogram over deciliter, ng/dl. The acceptable testosterone level of a young adult, we're talking 18 to 30 years, ranges from 300 to 1200. For men in their 30s, 240 to 950. For men in their 40s, it's around 230 to 916. For men in their 50s, it's 215 to 878. And for men in their 60s, 196 to 859. So those are the averages that it's the average of the level of testosterone that a man in those ages. But as you can see, it ranges from, let's say, 200-ish to 900. Those are above 30. This is pretty normal. One of the things to note, though, is around the age of 30, men start losing 1% of their testosterone every year. So year over year, you lose 1% more than you had the year prior to that. And I think that in the world that we live in today, it's very important that I speak about why testosterone is so fucking important for men. One, builds muscle and strength, helps with fat loss, produces sperm, maintains a healthy bone density, promote the growth of body hair and facial hair. That says a lot because I'm fucking hairless, I'm bald. It helps generating and maintain a healthy count of red blood cell, helps with your sex drive, obviously. And, you know, those we take for granted. Those as men, we take for granted because, again, as I said, year over year, we're losing 1% of our testosterone after the age of 30. And it takes us a while. As men, you have to admit to yourself that we are, we're used to living in pain. Like we will accept a lot of pain in our life and take it for granted and take it for normal. Like I know Josie was asking me the other day, if it's normal, like if it's normal to be in pain. Because at the end of the day, I don't remember a time I was never in pain. Like over the past 20 years, through all the training that I've done, through all the working out that I've done, the martial art, I always have something hurting. Always. There's no such thing, as least for me, to have a 0 out of 10 on the pain level. So we do take a lot of our body for granted when it comes to how we feel about our own body. Like our testosterone dropping is something that we will notice. Do we put one and one together and say, maybe that is why this is happening? I don't know. And hopefully this episode and all the other episodes that I will be doing on the subject will help with that. That being said, outside of the natural effect of losing testosterone, 1% testosterone every year, what are the other causes of testosterone? You know, turns out that it's obesity. The number one predictor of low testosterone is your obesity. And let's put this in context because this is one of the subjects that I speak about all the time because it is so fucking important and it is something that is totally in your control. But in the US, in North America, obesity is completely out of the fuck. It's out of control. So the US population is estimated at about 330 million. 31% of Americans right now are considered overweight. That's about 100 million Americans. 42% of Americans are obese. That's about 140 million Americans are obese. That leaves 27% of Americans are in health, or are in good health when it comes to the BMI. That's about 90%. That's about 90 millions of American. We're talking about almost 3 times more people are either overweight or obese compared to the people that are in shape in America right now. 44%. And this, for the most of the people that follow my stuff, are in their mid 30s and up to their 60s. And for American adults between the age of 40 to 59, which is, I'm 41, this is where I sit, 44% of us are obese. Almost half of men between 40 to 59 are obese. What the fuck's going on, right? And if you think that this is an American problem, because I know as Canadians, we always think that Americans are all fat, but guess what? This is a world problem. As per the WHO, more than 1 billion people right now are obese. As per advisoryboard.com, they were 14% of people were obese in 2020, so 3 years ago, and it's expected to rise to 24% in 2035. So that's almost double. So we, in the next 15 years, we are expecting the double amount of obese people. By 2035, we're estimating that we will be 8.9 billion people. That means that 2 billion people in 2035 will be overweight. That's a quarter of the population. It's absolutely ridiculous. And you know, this is something that's controllable, that is completely based on the amount of exercise that you do and the food that you eat. It is a self-inflicted condition, and it is something, yes, it's self-inflicted, but at the same time, it means that you actually have the power to change it. So that's totally up to you. And the more fat you have, the higher the chances your testosterone will plummet. They say that obesity is the number one predicator to low testosterone. So much so that it is estimated that obese men are 8 times more likely to have low testosterone than a healthy man. 8 times more likely. And again, I'm going to repeat this and repeat this and repeat this. This is self-inflicted. This is your fault. Don't fucking blame other people for being obese. This is 100% on you. And if you're a parent, if your kids have a parent that is obese, they have 50% chances of becoming obese themselves. This goes up to 80% chances if both parents are obese. So this is on you. This is 100% on you. Now, what are the solutions? What can you do to increase your testosterone? Well, this is not going to be a fucking surprise to anybody out there if you've been listening. The 2 easiest way to increase your testosterone is to start working out and start watching what you eat. So hitting the gym and being on a healthy diet are the 2 easiest way for you to boost your testosterone. And that's something you can start doing today. Absolutely today. This is 100% on you. And your testosterone, after one single weight lifting session, you can increase your testosterone by 20%. One workout with weights can increase your fucking testosterone by 20%. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. So if you're not working out right now 4 to 5 times a week, get the fuck to it. What the fuck are you waiting for? What the fuck are you waiting for if you're not working out right now 4 or 5 times a week? You have no fucking excuses. If your diet sucks, stop eating garbage and get on a fucking diet. Again, no fucking excuses. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for your fucking kids. If you can't do it for yourself right now, do it for your longevity. If you lack the motivation, if you lack the discipline to do so, fucking get a personal trainer. Go see a dietitian. Have somebody that's going to be on your ass, that's going to be fucking keeping you on point. You find an asshole personal trainer that's going to keep on your ass all the fucking time. Because again, I want to repeat this. The 2 easiest way for you to boost your testosterone starting today is by working out and eating a healthy diet. You can start this shit now. No fucking excuses. Now, there's another thing I always suggest, and I'm going to suggest it again. Try martial art. If you're not somebody that wants to hit the gym, I get it. Not everybody want to hit the gym. And at the end of the day, it does bring a lot of health benefits, but you could do martial arts. Martial art will put you in shape. It will help you lose fat. It will help you build muscle. It will help you with your cardio, and you're going to meet some fucking incredible people in the meantime too. And it's going to help you to learn how to defend yourself. So as we know, the number one virtue of a good man is to be a protector. So if you don't do martial art right now, or you don't know how to defend yourself, get into fucking martial art. and it will also help you with your testosterone level. So it's a win-win-win-win-win-win solution. It's you have no reasons not to do it. It's everything there is benefits. Now, it does seem that something bigger is going on. I don't know if you heard this, but if you do some research, they will actually mention that there's something more going on to the decrease of testosterone level in men. And this is a worldwide phenomenon. It is not just in North America. And they wonder if it lifestyle? Sure, that as I said, the number one thing is obesity, but they're seeing that there could be environmental problems as well. Like we eat a lot out of plastic. We eat a lot out of plastic containers that leaks through the food, and supposedly that has an effect. Although I will keep that for another episode. I just want to say that there is a worldwide phenomenon going on right now where the testosterone level in men is dropping. As per a 2007 study in the Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism, men in 2004 had 17% less testosterone than men of the same age in 1980. So in 24 years, it seems like the average man has lost 17% of testosterone. There's a Danish study that came up with the same result. They did it on Danish men, but same results. They were about 14 to 17% decrease in testosterone over the span of 24 years between 2004 and 1980. According to another research, men's testosterone level have dropped at least 20% in the last 20 years. So that means that if you look at this study, we're in 2003 and we're in 2023. That study is 2004. So it seems that we dropped another 20%. So in 2004, men had 17% less testosterone than men their same age in 1980, 24 years prior. And in the last 20 years, we are losing 20%. So as you can tell, that's a massive fucking difference. That is a massive fucking difference that seems to be occurring everywhere in the world. Right now, it's estimated that 40% of young men, are suffering from low testosterone. 40 fucking percent of young men right now are suffering from low testosterone. The average 22-year-old has an average testosterone level roughly equal to that of a 67-year-old back in 2000. Therefore, it's likely that your testosterone level are half of what your fathers were. Listen to what I'm saying. 17% drop between 1984 and 2004. Between 2004 and 2023, we see a drop of 20%. And those are the averages. They're just averages throughout men, to a point where right now, 40% of young men, almost 1 out of 2 men, young men, have low testosterone. Is it the obesity level? We said that it was 41% earlier, that 41% of Americans right now are obese. I'm just going to make sure I'm not talking shit here, but from memory, it's 41. Oh, sorry, it's 42%. 42% of Americans right now are not suffering, are obese. It's not suffering. They cause that to themselves. But the point in the matter is that 42% of Americans are obese and 40% of young men suffer from low T. Is it related? For sure, it's not helping. That's for fucking sure it's not helping. Now, what happens if you're a guy like me, where you're doing everything right? You try to sleep as much as you can. You are hitting the gym 5-6 times a week. You're already intermittent fasting, so you're already getting some of the boost in testosterone that intermittent fasting will provide. I was already on a healthy diet. Like, I'm not somebody that eats junk. I'm not a big drinker. Like, I haven't drank in shit 6, 7, 8 months now. I don't know, but it's been a while. And what do? Because going back to my results, so I did a full blood panel, and my testosterone level were in the low 500. For a guy like me, low 500, if, as you will see, we will talk about this shortly, but working out increases your testosterone level by about 180%, almost double. So how is it possible that a guy like me with the low 500, because imagine, remove almost half of that, or sorry, it's not 180, it was 20%, so a quarter. So remove a fifth. That means that I would be in the high three, which is the equivalent of a lazy fat guy. I had the testosterone level of a lazy fat guy when I'm working out all the time. I'm super careful about what I eat. How is that explainable? Like, what am I supposed to do about this? So my doctor suggested I start doing something called TRT. TRT stands for testosterone replacement therapy. So before you get all your pennies in a bunch, let's talk about what TRT actually is. Because I know there's a stigma out there. There's people that are always talking against that shit, and I don't want to hear it. I don't fucking care. But if you want to argue with me, please do. But at the end of the day, before you get your panties all in a bunch, let me fucking explain what it is. As I just said, it stands for testosterone replacement therapy. And it's not like steroids. Like, let's get this clear. Although you do inject yourself with testosterone just like steroids do, it is not like anabolic steroids where a dose of TRT is about 10 to 100 times the size of a dose of a bodybuilder that's on anabolic steroids. So you're talking 10 to 100 times less, because the whole point of TRT is not to build muscle. The whole point of TRT is not to become a muscle monster. It's not to become a bodybuilder. The point of TRT is to simply bring your levels back to a natural range. So again, let's repeat the natural ranges before I talk more about my results. But the acceptable ranges for young men, 18 to 30, you're talking about between 300 to 1200. For men in their 30, 240 to 950, 240 to 950, in their 40s, 230 to 916, in their 50s, 215 to 878, and in their 60s, 198, 196 to 859. So again, you're looking at roughly 250 to 950. Somewhere in there is pretty standard, and this is where I should have been. Now, there's one more thing I want to speak about before I go into some more results that I recently have, or that I recently had. Because if you're doing everything right, there's two things, in my opinion, that you can do to boost your testosterone. You can do TRT, and you can do long periods of fast. And let me explain you why. And by the way, if you want to have a lot more detail than what I'm going to share, because I'm just going to throw a resume out here, but I did record a live last week, lasted an hour, and I went over high level intermittent fasting and fasting. What are all the types? What do they do? How can you do it? It's something that I'm going to be speaking more and more about because I'm such a proponent of fasting. But all to say that if you go check my social media for last Friday, the full episode's there. You can, if you want, for the full, nice edited podcast, it will be released probably next week, maybe the week after. But in resume, you have two types of fasting that you can do normally. You have intermittent fasting and you have longer periods of fast. Your intermittent fasting are normally 12-hour fasting, 12-hour eating, 16 hours fasting, 8 hours eating, 18 hours fasting, 6 hours eating. You can do Brad Pilon's method, which is stop, eat, stop, eat. Involves 24-hour fast once or twice a week. I personally do one meal a day. So I'll be fasting about 22 hours a day and I'll eat for 2 hours. Then this is where the magic happens, in my opinion, is the longer periods of fast, the 3 days and the 5 days fast. Now, the longer periods of fast, not only do they optimize your hormones, your insulin levels, helps you lose fat by enabling your body to go into ketosis. It kicks off a process called autophagy, which is basically it gets rid of the old cells and starts replacing them by new one. But when it comes to testosterone, it also increases your testosterone as well as your growth hormones. Growth hormones is a crazy thing in bodybuilding right now. They fucking love growth hormones because it is literally what your body stopped producing naturally more and more in age, but it is a natural way to grow. This is what your body was filled up with when you were a teenager, when you were growing, when you were a baby, when you were growing. So when you stop growing, your HGH, as we call it, your HGH level starts dropping. But after a 24-hour fast, so not eating for 24 hours, just drinking water, black coffee, your growth hormones increase by 2,000%. 2,000 fucking percent. And after a 56-hour fast, your testosterone level increases by 180. So let's talk about what happened to me. When so last week I went to do a blood test, to do another full panel, because I have been right now on TRT for about 4 months now. And my results came back. My everything's great, like my all my hormones, all the levels, because the panel, I could go, maybe I'll go into it one day, but there's about 40 or 50, maybe not 40, yeah, probably about 40 things that it verifies, that it goes over and gives you the number. Everything is fucking spot on. It's beautiful stuff. But my testosterone level is where it's fucking interesting. It went from 512 to 1472, which is almost 3 times more. I almost tripled my fucking testosterone level. But like I said, 1400, like earlier, I was talking about 950. Like, depending on the margin, the high level is between 9 to 1100, is how natural, like how a natural body can produce testosterone. I'm at 1472, which is high. Like, we'll be honest here, it's high. But I know that the results were skewed. And let me tell you why. Because when I got my blood done last week, I was on my 4th day fast. So remember what I said, how it increases your testosterone. We're talking about 180%. So a 56-hour fast will increase your testosterone by 180%. So considering that I was on my 4th day of fast, if we remove the 180%, we're talking that my testosterone should have been at around 833, which is bang on. Like, it's on the higher end of the spectrum, but this is beautiful stuff. Like, so it's perfect for my age group. Like, it's on the higher end, but it makes sense for a guy that works out, that eats the way I do, that takes care of himself the way that I do. So does TRT work? Well, that's a hell fucking yes. But I'm not a doctor. This is not a medical advice. All I'm saying right now is I'm giving you my personal opinion based on my personal experience. And I can tell you that TRT works. No fucking doubt about it. My sex drive is through the roof. I've been sleeping 7 or 8 hours a night. I've never done that. In the past 20 years, I do not remember ever being able to do that. And one of the things that I did not realize is it optimizes the way your brain works. My brain is on fucking fire since I've been on TRT. And of course, my workouts are out of this fucking world. But there's one thing I want to finish with today is I don't know if I'm going to stay on TRT or not. Because if I was able to boost my testosterone level that much by just doing long periods of fast, I want to continue doing that. If you don't know a lot about fasting, check out my episode from last week, the live that I published last week. It's everywhere on my social media, or wait till I release the podcast in about a week, maybe a week and a half. But if I can boost my testosterone naturally by just doing fasting, that's what I'm going to do. Because at the end of the day, I don't like to put stuff in my body. I'm not the type to take medication. I'm the type to just endure the pain and let it heal. So I don't like to have stuff in my body that's not natural. But does it work? Yes, it's a fucking game changer. So if you are a man, because as I said, 40% of young men are experiencing low testosterone. So if you are a man, no matter your age, actually, that has a drastic reduced sex drive or low libido, having trouble focusing or concentrating, having trouble sleeping, constantly feeling tired, fatigue, reduce erectile function. We didn't talk about that because this is not a problem that I have. But if it is, if you lose body hair, can't grow a fucking beard just like me, lose a lot of lean muscle mass, you might have symptoms of low testosterone. So I highly, highly suggest that you get your blood checked. You do a full panel blood test to see all your important metabolic levels just to make sure that everything is good. And even if you think that they are, I suggest that you do, because it's always good to have confirmation. So on this beautiful Friday, I'm going to wish you a good weekend. This is what I had to say. So please let me know if you have any questions about this, if you think that you might be interested, if you wanted to learn more, if you think I'm full of shit, if you want to talk about it, please comment on this post, comment on the podcast, comment on whatever social media you found me on. Send me messages. I'm always happy to speak about this. I wanted to mention as well that I started a men's group. It's a closed group on Facebook where men can speak about men shit. There's no fucking taboos. It's freedom of speech. Whatever we want to talk about, I ask questions almost every day that are tabooed. And there's an opportunity for you to join us if you want to be part of the conversation. If you want to talk about masculinity, what it means today, join us at the Legion of Men on Facebook. I approve everybody myself, so make sure to answer the questions as to why you're joining the group. But please join us. So before I leave, I want to leave you on this. Always remember that I'm grateful for every single one of you, and that the world has changed one man at a time, and it takes just one man to change the world. Peace out.